Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And just like that, winter is back. Temperatures are in the upper 20s to low 30s this morning. We'll talk about how quickly we'll actually return to warmer temperatures.
Dollar General fire. A Creedmoor store is destroyed. The investigation this morning into what caused this. Plus, gas price concerns. Your spring break and summer travel could be more expensive. How the war in Iran could hit your wallet, whether you drive or fly. A lot to dive into this morning and overnight as you're tuning in here on WRAL News. We appreciate you being here with us. I'm Chris Lovingood. We do want to swing over to weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. You, as advertised, said it was going to be a drop in temperatures. Well, here we are.
And it was a big one, too, wasn't it? It was 75 degrees at midnight yesterday. So our 24-hour temperature change is just something crazy, of course. Our skies are mostly clear, but because we do have a little lingering moisture from yesterday, as our temperatures are falling, there could be a little bit of low cloud cover and fog. Haven't seen really any of that yet. But look at this. Our wind has already shifted to southeasterly. And as we get through the day today, that southeasterly wind becomes southerly and southwesterly, really warms us up. So it is sitting very close to freezing this morning as you're heading out the door in the Triangle. It's 33 in Fayetteville, almost everybody else at and below freezing. 28 in Southern Pines and Roxborough, 32 in South Hill, Rocky Mount, 30 in Goldsboro. And temperatures may drop a little bit more from where they are right now. At this time yesterday, temperatures were as much as 38 to 43 degrees warmer. So what a huge drop in our temperature. And with that temperature down near freezing, it's possible that there'll be some patchy frost on your windshield this morning. A bit of a breeze happening this afternoon, but that wind is coming out of the southwest, so that's good. That keeps warming us up, and we'll likely climb back up into the 60s this afternoon. We're on track for a nice mild weekend, but on Sunday we could have some rain and some strong storms on Monday, and we'll walk through that coming up.
Sounds good, Elizabeth. We'll come back to you in a bit. We're trying to learn more about an overnight police presence in Durham. Look at this video here. This is through the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. We were there on East Lawson Street and Ridgeway Avenue around 11 last night. We're still trying to figure out what police were investigating and if there were any arrests. We're also trying to learn more about a fire at a Dollar General store in Creedmoor. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there, capturing the aftermath of the fire this morning. This is the Dollar General on South Main Street. We also received photos from viewers through WRAL's Report It feature. It shows the emergency response to that scene last night. Police tell us no one was hurt, and we're still trying to figure out what led to this fire. The war in Iran is pushing gas prices higher and higher, and that could make your spring break and summer travel more expensive. Let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey live and Carrie with what travelers need to know this morning. Kelsey, I'll tell you what, on the way in, $3.59 at 4 different gas stations I saw.
And Chris, what we're seeing here at this gas station in Cary on Kildare Farm Road is even higher than that. It looks like it's $3.65 a gallon. This morning, the average price of gas here in North Carolina is up 32 cents compared to just 1 week ago. So your spring break and summer travel may be more expensive this year. Whether you're driving or flying, gas prices are not only up because of the war on Iran, there are also seasonal factors that increase the costs, like the more expensive blend for summer fuel and greater demand. Higher oil prices are driving up the cost of jet fuel, too. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says airlines that are based in the U.S. use about 4 billion gallons of jet fuel a year. Now, extra costs for fuel may be passed on to consumers. DeHaan says that even if the war ends, it could take a while for gas prices to go back down.
It probably will take some time for gas prices to go down, and they won't go fully down to their pre-war level because of those seasonal changes that are coming. So while it'd be hopeful that later in the summer prices may eventually fall below the $3 mark, that right now seems a long way off.
If you want to find the lowest gas prices anywhere, download the WRAL News app and search fuel. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
And new data from AAA this morning shows gas prices are still climbing elsewhere as well. The average in Raleigh is up 6 cents to $3.49. The North Carolina average, an increase to $3.44. And nationally, it's $3.63 a gallon. Cumberland County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a deadly shooting. You can see here the scene that was on Back Bay Road last night. A woman died, but her name has not been released. Deputies say this was not a random shooting. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Sheriff's Department. This morning, we have new information about the attack on a synagogue and school near Detroit. A driver rammed his car into Temple Israel Synagogue and then exchanged gunfire with a security guard. The FBI is leading this investigation, and the Bureau says this was a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. The driver was killed and the security guard was injured. The car caught fire after ramming the building, and 30 first responders went to the hospital for smoke inhalation from that fire, but they are expected to be okay. Students and teachers are all uninjured and accounted for. Homeland Security said the driver of the vehicle was 41-year-old Ayman Ghazali. He was born in Lebanon and then came to the United States in 2011. And we're hearing from local members of the Jewish community after that attack. Synagogues across the Triangle have received threats over the years, and this forced many of them to increase security. Rabbi Eric Solomon of Beth Meyer Synagogue calls this attack anti-Semitic.
But we are on high alert, and so it is incredibly upsetting. I can't put words to it, how scared, frightened, but we are resolute and we're resolved to continue doing our Jewish life and continue being strong in our Judaism.
Rabbi Solomon also says no one should fear for their life in a place of worship. He says now is the time to support the Jewish community. And then another violent story that we're following, the shooting at Old Dominion University in Virginia. A person is dead and 2 others are hurt. The person police say was the gunman was also killed yesterday morning. An FBI spokesperson identified that person as 36-year-old Mohammed Jallo. He was a former Virginia National Guard member who served prison time for attempting to aid ISIS a decade ago. Army Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw was killed in that attack. Shaw was a professor of military science in the university's Army ROTC program. The 2 others who were injured were also Army personnel. New in the war in Iran this morning. On his Truth Social account, President Donald Trump said the United States is, quote, totally destroying the terrorist regime of Iran, end quote. This comes as Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, delivered his first public message. Khamenei says that Tehran will avenge the 170 people, mostly children, who were killed in a likely United States strike on the elementary school. Outdated intelligence most likely led to a deadly American missile strike on that elementary school. In terms of how the war is affecting oil, the price per barrel surged above $100. Iranian roadblocks have not allowed passage through the Strait of Hormuz. And mind you, 20% of the world's oil is transported through this. To help ease the effect on consumers, the U.S. Treasury announced a 30-day waiver on Russian oil sanctions at sea. Happening today, the first major event at the Raleigh Convention Center gets started months after a large fire on the roof. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is live outside the Convention Center this morning. Ali, staff there, they're still dealing with the effects of the fire while repairs are being made.
Yeah, and they're really excited because Anime Raleigh is expected to bring 10,000 people to the convention center throughout the weekend. Now, this event, it comes 2 months later than it usually does, but it comes at a time when the convention center is almost good as new. Now, in early December, a fire tore through the roof of the convention center. It caused $2 million in damage to the roof, heating and cooling system, kitchen, and offices. Since then, they've set up a mobile kitchen and installed temporary AC units. Now, they almost have all of the equipment to operate the kitchen. The convention center says it should be up and running in early April. Now, Carrie Painter, the executive director of the convention center, says Animate Raleigh is one of their biggest events, so they're grateful to reschedule and have the convention center ready for visitors.
It has been a lot, I'll say that, but we are excited how fast we've been able to get back up and running.
And at the end of the month, we'll see McDowell Street close again as they install the new permanent HVAC systems as well. And so as for Animate Raleigh visitors, they won't notice a thing. They say all of the damage, any of the repair process is behind the scenes. Animate Raleigh starts at 4 this afternoon and runs through the weekend. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Today, Vice President J.D. Vance will be in Rocky Mount. The White House says he will be delivering remarks at the Powerhouse at 2 p.m. Doors open at 11 a.m., and the Powerhouse holds about 200 to 300 people, according to the venue's website. The vice president's trip comes as President Donald Trump makes stops in several states to talk about his economic agenda. Also happening today, election officials plan to finish counting ballots in a heated Republican primary. This could unseat one of North Carolina's most powerful legislators. Senate Leader Phil Berger trails Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page by 23 votes in their state Senate district. That district includes Guilford and Rockingham counties. County election officials plan to meet this morning to report their counts. Page is leading by less than 1 percentage point, and if that holds, Berger can request a recount so long as he does so by noon on Tuesday. Berger says he's exploring that option. Berger and Page started raising funds to pay for a prolonged recount process. The man accused of posting a threat to E.E. Smith High School in Fayetteville is expected in court today. 19-year-old Travion Washington is charged with communicating threats. Police didn't say, though, what the message said. Washington is being held at the Cumberland County Jail without bond. Greg Lindbergh is asking a Wake County judge to recuse himself from Lindbergh's civil trial. If you didn't know, Lindbergh was once one of the state's biggest political donors. And WRAL News was the only media outlet in the Wake County courtroom. Lindbergh accused Judge Graham Shirley of having a personal vendetta against him. Shirley is overseeing a civil case involving Lindbergh's former insurance empire. Earlier this year, Lindbergh was forced to pay more than $500 million to victims of a fraud scheme, and he appeared alone yesterday after all his lawyers quit.
I'm shackled. Thank you gracefully for not handcuffing me so I can hold my papers. I'm in an orange jumpsuit, and I'm doing this by myself. Why? Because no counsel wants to be in front of you. They're afraid of being sanctioned.
Shirley denied Lindbergh's request, and Lindbergh previously pleaded guilty to fraud charges and conspiracy to commit money laundering using his insurance businesses. Your time is 4:41 this morning. Hundreds of guns. Investigators in Person County say many of them were stolen and sold to unsuspecting buyers. Why deputies are now urging people who purchased one to come forward.
And don't put away the coats just yet. Our temperatures are near freezing as you're heading out the door this morning. You might even need to scrape your windshield, but I'll show you why it may be a while before we see temperatures this cold again.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:45, and I love it. Franklinton getting ready. Hey, Tuesday is St. Patrick's Day, and Tuesday's probably going to be really chilly. We've got some really active weather between now and then, but Franklinton's all ready to go there with those beautiful light decorations. Our temperatures are chilly this morning, and we are watching for some patchy fog. I haven't seen any on the cameras. Visibility hasn't started to drop on our maps yet, but definitely it's possible today. 28 in Southern Pines, 33 in Fayetteville, 30 in Roanoke Rapids, 32 in Wilson and Rocky Mount. So yes, it does feel like winter out there right now. Heading out the door, obviously, you're going to grab your coat. Make sure you send your kids out with their coats. I told my son, who's a teenager, yesterday, don't forget, to take a hoodie with you to school. He came running in the house in his shorts and T-shirts. What do you do? The meteorologist kid, right? Everybody's laughing in here. So at the bus stop, yes, send the coats if they'll take them. At lunchtime, mid-50s, and feeling better this afternoon with a high of 61. I'll show you when we're back into the 70s.
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. Well, investigators have confiscated hundreds of guns in Person County. Detectives say the suspect was selling the guns and claiming they were inherited from an estate. However, investigators believe many of them were actually stolen. So far, 6 victims have been identified, and the sheriff's office is asking anyone who may have bought one of these guns to reach out to them. That way they can check if they were stolen. Google Maps has a new feature, 2 in fact. It's called Ask Maps and the Gemini-powered immersive navigation. Ask Maps lets users interact with maps like a chatbot. Users can ask spoken or written questions and get personalized results based on search history and saved trips. As for immersive navigation, it uses Gemini to create a 3D view of the road, buildings, overpasses, and terrain around you. But the question is, can you ask it, is there a speed trap near me? Some people may want to know that. All right, a close call in New York. Look at this video showing a car speeding through an intersection, hitting scaffolding, and nearly hitting other vehicles and people walking. This happened Tuesday in a very busy area. And despite all of this, how intense this was, no pedestrians were hurt. A powerful storm is hitting Hawaii, and heavy rain and strong winds are causing flooding across the islands. The storm is also turning coastal waters brown with runoff. Emergency teams are on standby as the system slowly moves through. And after yesterday's thunderstorms here, we're getting reports of flooding and downed trees and more. Viewer video from Pikeville shows the intense winds. Elsewhere, downed trees and power lines caused a busy road in Fuquay Arena to close and led to flooding in parts of Raleigh. Meanwhile, in 4 Oaks, heavily damaged barn roofs and shingles were scattered across yards. Homeowners say they were worried about this storm and the damage to their homes.
It has like a roar to it. The way the wind was coming, it was terrifying. Took the barn off the foundation and flipped it over about 15 feet away.
And then our house right now is about 4 to 6 inches off foundation.
Our meteorologists say there was no evidence of tornadoes in our viewing area, just strong straight line winds. But given the situation there yesterday, Elizabeth, I mean, yes, it was super windy. We saw the impacts from it. Is it going to be quieter today?
It is going to be quieter today. Still likely to be a little bit breezy, but we did have some really fast-moving storms. The storms were moving at about 45 miles per hour, and then we had winds that were gusting up to around 50. So the forward motion and the wind coming out of the storm did do some considerable damage in parts of the viewing area. Today's nice and quiet. We do have another chance of severe storms on Monday. It could be similar, likely be straight-line winds like we saw yesterday. We'll talk more about that in a while. But right now, we're starting off with cold temperatures. We'll have a nice mild afternoon, a warmer weekend, but we start the next system with some isolated showers on Sunday, and then it moves into Monday. Here we are, St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much to Franklinton. It always makes us smile to see all those pretty lights there. Starting to see some fog developing around the triangle that's showing up here on our icon. It's 33 degrees, and temperatures are going to be cold all the way through the morning commute. It's 32 in Durham and 29 in Chapel Hill, 31 in Holly Springs, and 33 in Gardner and Knightdale. And these temperatures are anywhere from 38 to 46 degrees colder than this time yesterday. It is rare that you see a 24-hour temperature change that is that extreme. Watching out for some low cloud cover to form. Notice there's not a whole lot showing up, but some patches of fog maybe around Wake County. At RDU, visibility is still 10 miles, but it's dropped to 2 miles in Goldsboro and 7 in Clinton. So nothing widespread at this point, but we do have the potential to have some fog this morning. Our weather maker has moved out. This high pressure system is going to keep us bright and sunny. It's kept our winds to the north overnight, but as it rapidly moves eastward, winds right now are moving pretty much in all directions. But watch what happens as we get into the afternoon. We see that wind coming out of the south, and that will warm us up nicely. So that's how we're going to go from freezing this morning to 61 this afternoon, which is actually near normal. And then we keep that warm up going as we head into the weekend with temperatures in the 70s. So it's going to feel great. Monday, we'll have a chance for severe storms. We'll talk about the timeline, and look at that. Behind that front, we're cold again for St. Patrick's Day at 49.
Yes, I love the cold. I'm so excited, Elizabeth. All right, thank you. Your time is 4:50 this morning. Steven Spielberg coming out with a new film and the movie that blurs the line between reality and improvising that comes out today. Plus, it is March Madness, but one health expert says following brackets could lead to something more than a fun sports experience. Looks like Steven Spielberg is returning to Alien movies. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Hello, Jane. Please, have a seat.
The official trailer is out for Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, and Coleman Domingo star in the First Contact film. Everything will be revealed when Disclosure Day opens in theaters June 12th.
I was so lonely. I was really, really lonely.
I feel crazy saying this.
Outside of here would be crazy, but inside here, where it's safe, what's crazy about that?
Group, the Schopenhauer effect, blurs the line between performance and reality. Actors play group therapy participants alongside a real-life psychoanalyst, with most of the dialogue improvised and actors told to respond differently than expected. The film is in theaters today. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Drivers in Garner should expect delays along East Garner Road near Jurgen Park. The town leaders say one lane will be closed between Jones Sausage and New Rand Roads. The closures will last for about the next 2 weeks. It's part of the Jurgen Park Bond Project, and the new park will include 4 athletic fields, a picnic shelter, and an inclusive playground. This project is set to be finished late this year. NC Central University has a new chief of police. This is Robert E. Gaddy Jr. He's taken over that position. His appointment was effective March 1st. Gaddy has been with the university's patrol division for the last 4 years, and he took over as interim chief back in December. Gaddy is also an NCCU alum and graduated in 1983. You know, March Madness, it is such a hype time for basketball fans, but mental health experts say following our brackets can impact us in ways you may not realize. Doctors say watching sporting events brings people together and helps reduce loneliness, but they also give fans something to look forward to and provide an escape from everyday stress. But at the same time, a close game can quickly turn stressful. Cleveland Clinic sports psychiatrist Dr. Lindsay Honecker says emotions can be harder to manage in this case, especially if you mix in sports betting and alcohol use.
It's very important to make sure that you're taking breaks, especially when those emotions get really intense, to kind of reshift focus, reset. If possible, go for a walk. Just get some steps in around your house. Do some deep breathing.
Calm down, drink some milk. Ain't that serious. Don't get yourself hyped out about it. Dr. Honecker says it's best to enjoy the games overall rather than focusing on the wins and losses too much. Your time is 4:56 this Friday morning. One suspect is dead, but a Michigan community is still shaken after an attack on a local synagogue. What one local community leader is saying this morning and what you may have missed while you were sleeping. Then budgeting for higher gas prices as spring break gets closer. What travelers need to know before getting their trip started. And it is a weekend filled with anime, cosplay, and animation. The event that was pushed back because of a fire, now making its appearance.